Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we help celebrate those who make a difference in our region as flood relief efforts continue 9 months after the disaster. And we honor an Eastern Kentucky nonprofit that has been a major help in getting people and communities back on their feet.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning to you on this Friday. It is April the 28th. It is 9 months exactly to the day and to the hour that we were dealing with that flooding there across our region. I'm Brandon Robinson. And of course, we don't have anything like that in our forecast today. Let's check in with the expert, Mr. Meteorologist Cameron Aaron here to tell us that that is not going to be the case today, Cameron. Even though this is a flashback.
Expert might be a stretch, Brandon, but yeah, for sure. No flooding issues for the region today, but we are watching out for some showers this morning as you walk out the door. So let's go right to the radar this morning. Most of us are dry as you wake up, but we are tracking some spotty showers, mainly west of I-75. This is in Whitley County, just to the north of Williamsburg, near the Youngs Creek community. So some heavier showers over in portions of northern Whitley County this morning. Also some heavier showers in northern Tennessee, and this is moving off to the north and east. So just a heads up in Wayne County, if you're in Powersburg or Monticello, some heavier showers, some thunder, some lightning. That will move into the region as we go into the next little bit. Current temperatures middle to upper 50s as you walk out the door, so we are mild, a little bit muggy out there as well this morning, and temperatures will continue to warm as we go into the afternoon. Highs topping out in the upper 60s and lower 70s, watching out for more spotty showers and maybe a few thunderstorms as well. That full forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Brandon?
Thanks, Cameron. Exactly 9 months ago this morning, literally at this minute, we were on the air covering deadly flooding that began devastating parts of eastern Kentucky. The damage and destruction is still being felt by many families. Here in Perry County, renovation could soon begin at the Buckhorn School. Floodwaters nearly destroyed the building back in July. School leaders say they are planning for repairs that will likely cost them millions of dollars.
You asked me if I'm surprised about what the overall cost is going to be. Probably not, because I thought it was going to be a complete teardown.
Bids on the renovation work will be received next month. Construction will likely take several months. Celebrating the strength of our communities and highlighting local heroes. The 35th East Kentucky Leadership Award ceremony focused on those who helped after last summer's historic flooding. WYMT's Keaton Hall has some highlights from the ceremony.
I just think it's a privilege to get to serve the people.
A night to acknowledge and celebrate those who made a difference after July's floods.
There's nothing more meaningful than being recognized by your own community for doing work in your community. That means more than anything.
Celebrating the resilience of a devastated community.
It truly is the meaning of community when you think about what everyone and all the different roles everybody played here tonight.
The Eastern Kentucky Leadership Conference awarding 8 individuals and organizations for their work during and after the floods.
It's an honor, but it's also, like we were talking about during the ceremony, there's so many people who did good work. It's an honor to be recognized, but you kind of want everybody who to be recognized.
Recognizing just some of the heroes who sprang into action.
This award means so much, not just for me, but the community, for the fire department. It shows everything that we've done, all the hard work that we put into it, all the good volunteers that we have.
Even if they didn't ask for it.
But we're not in this for recognition. We ain't been in it for recognition from day one. We always say that God gets all the glory out of it all. And we're sticking to that, and he does.
The 2023 Eastern Kentucky Leadership Awards in Hazard. Keaton Hall, WYMT Mountain News.
Lots of folks gathered over there at HCTC last night. WYMT will air the highlights of the East Kentucky Leadership Award Showcase Monday night, May 15th at 7. Affordable housing was a topic discussed in depth yesterday at the conference. Organizational leaders talked about housing issues already plaguing the region, only to become bigger following the flood. Housing Development Alliance Home Repair Manager Max Temple says relief organizations are working hard to find solutions.
We're far off. The recovery effort's going to be a long haul, but in terms of community engagement and from the local, state, and national levels, there's attention on it, and a lot of great work is getting done.
The Housing Development Alliance is working to build homes outside of floodplains as part of the Housing Can't Wait initiative. There will be more discussions about the flood aftermath today during the second and final day of the conference. Nonprofit organizations have been a large part of flood recovery in our region. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox talked with the employees from the Foundation of Appalachian Kentucky about their impact on the region.
What's the first thing that pops up in your head when you think of 2022?
Chaos, tragedy, then resilience and hope. So you can't think of one without the other.
I know those words don't go together. They're not similar, they're very much opposites, but that is very much how the flooding in July 2022 impacted us.
It was sheer devastation and catastrophe, but at the same time, everybody was so willing to help one another, even if they had lost everything too. And I think that's really special, and I think that really speaks to the nature of Eastern Kentucky.
I think the fight or flight kicked in for everyone. Everybody here especially. I mean, they were round the clock, and they had brought in so much new staff, and they were training everybody, and they were doing all of these things that they had never done before, direct payments to individuals, all of this stuff, and they're figuring it all out on the fly.
We took in about 8,000 applications for help. That included people who just lost everything out of their refrigerator because of the power outage, all the way to people who lost everything, including members of their family. We wrote more than 8,000 checks to individuals, to housing organizations, to nonprofits, to farmers, to small businesses.
It was not something that we were thinking about, and we were just kind of on autopilot. And so for me, it was more of, I don't have time to cry in front of these people because these people have already lost everything. And so my job is to get these checks out, get these grants out as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
Our job is to get out there and say, our communities are suffering, we need support, and then to be available for people to provide that support and be the stewards of getting that support out the door. So we didn't really have time to think about how big and the enormity and how hard this was going to be. We only had time to think about, how do we get this message out? How do we get this money in? And how do we get these resources to the people who need them the most? And that's what we did.
And the 2023 East Kentucky Leadership Award for Organization goes to the Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky.
And the Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky gave out more than $7 million in grants after the flood. In other news, Governor Andy Beshear's office has announced nearly $5 million in state funding to help buy land and develop buildings in our area to stimulate job growth. It is part of the Kentucky Product Development Initiative. The governor's office has approved state funds for half of the cost of building a 105,000 square foot facility in the Southern Kentucky Business Park. That is in partnership with Bell, Knox, and Whitley counties. One East Kentucky and the Johnson County Fiscal Court will receive more than $217,000 to pay for half of the expansion of the industrial park in Hager Hill. And the news comes 1 month after the Beshear administration announced an initial round of approvals for several other projects, including those in Laurel, Carter, and Lawrence counties. Well, it's official. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice has announced his bid for U.S. Senate. The move sets up a potential challenge for the Democratic incumbent, Senator Joe Manchin. Governor Justice is a former Democrat, switching to the Republican Party in 2017. It was not the first time he has changed parties, however. He was an independent and a Republican until 2015 when he ran for governor as a Democrat. Senator Manchin, another former governor who has served in the Senate since 2010, has not said if he plans to run for re-election in 2024.
Well, we are watching out for some showers as you walk out the door this morning, and also some patchy fog in some places as well. Here's a live look over at Buffalo Mountain, and notice on the bottom of your screen that white, that is some valley fog showing up back in the distance. So some of you may see some patchy fog in some places. 54 degrees right now over in Buffalo Mountain. Nothing too widespread, but some patchy fog is going to be possible as you walk out the door. So you may need some extra time on your Friday morning commute. Also watching out for some showers this morning. Most of of us are dry on radar, but heads up in Wayne County, also in McCreary County as well. We gave you the first alert about this about 30 to 45 minutes ago, and now that rain is starting to move into Wayne County, and some of the rain could be a little bit heavy in some places, but no severe weather is expected across the mountains on Friday. But some of the showers could be heavy. High temperatures today topping out in the lower 70s, and more showers are possible into this weekend. All that and more coming up in just a few minutes. Brandon?
Cameron, thank you. Thanks for joining Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Coming up, a so-called star witness gives his testimony in the investigation into the events of the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. More details on that on the way next.